Welcome to Choose Greater Health with Paige Speers. This is part of the World of Ability podcast network, and we are so happy to have Paige joining us every second and fourth Fridays in every month. Come on in here and see her at 2 o'clock Central for her awesome programming here. And she has a wonderful guest joining today as well. So I am honored to be able to bring in our host today, Paige Speers. Welcome, Paige. How are you?
Thank you, Sue. I'm doing great. And this is Lisa. And Lisa, can you can share who you are and what you do and how it can benefit brain injury survivors?
Yeah, I'm Lisa Rufsholm, and I'm an expert in hair mineral analysis. So I take people's hair and we do an analysis for minerals and heavy metal toxicity, adrenals, thyroid, cellular membrane, lots of good stuff. So we get into the deep dive of cellular health.
That sounds really interesting. And what got you interested in starting this line of work?
I was extremely fatigued at 36, and I went to the medical community like everybody does and did all their tests, which were a little dangerous, and they had no conclusion for me other than see a psychologist. And that lit my fire. I said, no, there's an explanation. This is not depression. This is for real. I just have no strength, no energy. And a friend of mine's mom had been doing hair analysis for 20, 30 years. And I said, do whatever you have to do. I had 4 daughters that were 10 and under at the time. So I had to take care of my kids. And I did the hair analysis just to find out that my sodium potassium was so low I couldn't regulate my heart rate and had problems with hydration and many other things, just mineral imbalance. And once I got better, I wanted to pay it forward.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. And what would an initial consultation with someone, say a brain injury survivor, be like for you?
I want to get to know the person as a whole, because when we're doing mineral balancing, we're working on all levels all at one time instead of just trying to hit a symptom or an imbalanced level. Above beyond the rebuilding process of the foundation, I would target them with specific brain healing supplements. A lot of modalities, go over their sleep patterns, what they're exposed to as far as chemicals go, hydration habits, look at their heavy metals on their hair analysis, get some omega fatty acids in their diet, go through chronic stress situations because it is stressful with a brain injury. My husband had a traumatic brain injury in 2005. So I've been down this road, and it's firsthand, it's scary for the family too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had my brain injury in 2016 when I was 32, and that was caused by blood clots that got into my lungs and cut off the oxygen to my brain. So I'm both a pulmonary embolism and oxygen deprivation brain injury survivor there. And so
Wow.
I'm a member of the Brain Injury Association of America and the National Blood Clot Alliance ambassador.
Wow. You've turned your pain into purpose, though. I love that.
Yeah, and it occurred to me after a while that the cause of the blood clots, based on my own research, was likely 12 years of taking anti-anxiety medications and combo hormonal birth control. And I had a gene site test done in 2015, the year before, and or it was either that or early 2016. And that was too late to really do anything for me, although the results showed metabolic level incompatibilities with those and my system.
Wow. Yeah, they just put you on things and they don't test first to make sure it's okay. They don't
Yeah.
monitor closely. I have a friend that had a heart attack at like 40 years old because she had taken birth control.
Mm.
Um, she was a little under 40, but yeah, that's way young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard things like, oh, well, if there are side effects, they should happen sooner than that.
I don't know why they don't do a deeper dive.
Yeah.
Just medication wise, I even go with my mom who's 79 and they tell her that she should take this and that. And I've looked at the side effects and I question them on it. One of them was a injection for cholesterol. And I said, so you want me to bring her home and inject her with this cholesterol medication once a week? You don't know about the side effects that she's going to have. And she's allergic to Benadryl.
Mm.
I said, so how about you do it in the hospital and you take responsibility for anything that comes of it? Oh, no, we can't do that. Then why would he want me to do it?
Yeah.
There's not enough deep dive into what could happen and to prevent things like that.
Yeah, the sad thing is that nutritional psychiatry wasn't a thing in 2004 when it could have helped me and kept me off the pharmaceuticals. Although I've since put my anxiety into remission based on improving my nutrition and 8 months of twice weekly neurofeedback sessions in the first year post-injury.
So you're doing biofeedback?
Neurofeedback, it
Neurofeedback?
was set up with a TV and movies and protocols set up and wires running from my cap on my scalp to the TV and different things set up so my brain would respond differently and the TV would flicker based on that. So
My
I've
daughter
got a
did
clear
that too.
picture. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
picture when it was working well.
She did that for some things that she had for dyslexia and autism. And I did it when she was maybe 10 years old, and it was very helpful for her. And they had a kid version. I'm sure that's different than yours. If she could really concentrate and control certain things, she would get a picture that would come on the TV. It was kind of like when you would color in the ones and red and the twos would be green, that kind of thing. So there's great versions of that. I am so glad you found that.
Yeah, what I did was just watching a movie that was set up with the system.
Good. Have you ever looked into biofeedback with frequency healing?
Maybe.
I do that for stress management, and it's amazing. So amazing. Even though my body physically is in alignment and balanced, the biofeedback is incredible for helping my stress level go down.
I did just do a biofield tuning session with provider Sandra Lee, who I also met at a networking meeting recently. And I also told her about the brain injury support groups I go to online, in addition to the ones that I brought my co-survivors in on from my local support group.
Nice. Did you feel better after that session with her?
Yeah, things were different. Although
Good.
I've noticed in general with the sciatica, that's I've had issues with that for since late last year, and cold temperatures also seem to aggravate it. Although I've been working on gluten and dairy-free diet and getting the anti-inflammatories in with on the recommendation of my naturopath that I've been working with since late last year also, and I've continued on my multivitamin with iron and D3, and I've been taking extra omega-3s and some other things, extra GI support of varying kinds, and we're really working on dialing in my hormone balance.
Those are all so important.
Yeah, since I still have to take Xarelto, and since the blood clots were considered unprovoked, despite what I've learned about the medication cause, since well, the Xarelto also could be having additional undesirable hormonal effects.
Yeah, it's hard. You're kind of stuck in the corner where you have to, but the side effects are there until you find a better solution. It's hard. Did they ever put you on any kind of NSC or NAD?
N-acetylcysteine?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I still have some of that left.
that's really great. It helps to reconnect those neural pathways. My husband had
The
scar
glutathione
tissue.
predecessor.
The NAD?
The NAC is a glutathione precursor.
Yeah, and NAD as well. Yep. One thing I would suggest, because I've been through this whole thing with him, and I know it's very difficult. I had him on alpha lipoic acid for his gut. At the time, I didn't know he had celiac. He developed that later, but the alpha lipoic helped to heal his gut lining along with the probiotics like you're taking. But balance hormones was a big deal. Calcium to magnesium in the right ratio to calm his brain down, because he also has ADHD. So
And
it was
magnesium
misfiring.
glycinate at night.
Pardon me?
Magnesium glycinate at night too.
That's
been
the best form.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You want to make sure you have a 2-to-1 ratio with that. With calcium, though, that's what our bones are made out of. If you just take that magnesium, it can kind of skim off and take calcium off your bones, so you can end up with weaker bones and a harder time falling asleep. And sleep quality is really important when you have a brain injury, because calcium will put us to sleep and magnesium will keep us there. And I don't want you to strip away any bone and have bone loss.
That's a good point.
So you want that 2-to-1, so twice as much calcium as your magnesium glycinate, so that you have balance there. And that also dictates your glucose levels, which is another factor with brains have to cut out that carbohydrate sugars when you're trying to heal it, so you don't kick into that like third diabetic stage where you have too much sugar in the brain. That might help you a lot. Near infrared saunas can help heat your body up. I know he was hot and cold. So we did near infrared saunas, red light therapy, cold hot shower alternations help to bring that blood flow in and out. That can help.
And also dietary calcium, like coconut milk has a certain amount of calcium in it, possibly even more than dairy milk.
Easier to digest. As long as your sugars are in alignment, that can be good. Just watch the milk versus coconut water. I think the water is a little bit lower in carbohydrate and sugars, so it can still give you the benefits without the sugars.
And good electrolytes.
Yes. Natural ones.
Yeah.
Mineral sea salts too. Soleil water is a really good way to get a bump of that every day. Just add a tablespoon of your Soleil water to your regular water. Simple. Just simple. It's back to the earth minerals.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried a hyperbaric chamber with oxygen?
I tried a few sessions of that and my ears disagreed with it.
That's common. It happens. It's a try though,
Yeah.
So you find out what works and what feels better and what helps and what doesn't.
And I do take a supplement called NeuroO2, and that increases the availability of oxygen to my brain.
Does it have like the nitric oxide in there?
Possibly.
Okay. Yeah, that really helps oxygenation, hydrogen water. I have a little individual tube that I use for hydrogenating the water. That helps. It's just really healing. And detoxification, just getting the brain cleared out. It's amazing how many places we're just kind of getting it from, as far as microplastics and heavy metals is a big deal as far as cognitive or brains that I work with. They affect people's personalities sometimes. But, we have all the deodorants and personal care products and cleaning products, and we're just exposed to everything.
Yeah,
it's a struggle.
I used a detox supplement with, I think, the charcoal in it last winter, and in the process of inquiring about the exact name of the pesticide detox kind of thing and what that is, since there was one name recommended, and I'm also looking for it in the shop.
Any detox is going to help, whether it's liver, it's just going to help clean everything out. And that's your best rate of healing is to detoxify.
Yeah, I've also taken a liver GI detox supplement.
Have you ever done an anti-parasitic detox?
Nothing specific for that.
Okay. Sometimes it can help. It could be a gut issue that helps your brain heal faster. There's at times people have had brain parasites that can help clear those out, so there's more room for healing. And then you have more nutrients because they aren't getting the first of the food, and then you get what's left over.
Yeah. And I've also used gluten, dairy, digestive enzymes for those. And what I'm going to do moving forward, when I can include those again, is not a full serving of it,
Yeah. Just make sure you aren't reactive to it and use
Yeah.
things slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of a product called Protandem?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Um, it removes 40% of your oxidative stress in 30 days, and it's proven. There's over 26 PubMed studies now on that. It's a nutraceutical, so it's all natural products, but it's the way they synergistically work together, and it's not really duplicatable because the government's tried to duplicate it in a synthetic form to make a medication, and they fail. But when they do that study, they have to publish it. So there's like 26 tries out there at least. And it's simple things like milk thistle, ashwagandha, which is
Mm-hmm.
anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And they've proven it under slides with science, so it's not wishful thinking. And they have NRF2 pathway that it does, and then
Uh-huh.
NRF1 rebuilds your mitochondria, which is a big part of brain healing.
Mm-hmm. I've also been taking methylfolate and
Mhm.
a thing called adaptocrine, and that has the things like lion's mane and ashwagandha in it.
There's some great products. You're on the right path.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a slow process. I think that was the biggest frustration my husband had. He said, I have so much that I want to say and it won't come out. And socially, he felt overwhelmed and he could tell people were checking out of his conversations because he was speaking slow because people can't see that injury. You
Yeah.
know, it's a difficult road and support system is a lot.
Yeah. And hence the Not Invisible campaign.
Yes. If you had a cast on your head, people would be so much more sympathetic and helpful, but they can't see it, so they don't understand. They're like, well, you look good, you look fine. They just they don't understand. It's awareness is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And patience, we had
Yeah.
all learned great patience. Just let dad process for a few minutes, and he needed a lot of alone, quiet time to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So what helps you heal best?
Oh, also bringing in things like therapeutic horseback riding. Since horseback riding was a big thing for me before the injury, I started school as an equestrian major, although I transferred and got my BA in dance. I've been doing dance and horseback riding for a lot of my life, and that certainly worked for me. And so I've settled into doing some horse training in class on the side that I know what I'm doing and the horses know it.
I love it. You're my girl. I have two horses and my girls were all in dance. So you're my girl.
Yeah.
My horses are my cheapest therapy in life, even though they cost me plenty. Um, they're grounded 24/7 and you can go out
Yeah.
there in the crabbiest mood and they know it. They read your face and you just touch them and you feel so much more calm and everything's okay. And I swear there's a good transference of energy that just makes everything fine.
Yeah. And I brought one of my therapeutic horseback riding instructors in as a guest speaker when my local support group met in person.
That's awesome. We need
Yeah.
more of that. We need a lot more of that for horse owners to put those programs together or bring someone like your person in to work with horses to help people. I also am connected and support for fundraising a group that does that for veterans with PTSD.
Yeah, I rode in the veterans group that they had at my local stable, Cedar Creek, a few years back. And that was one of the days. There was a reporter from my local paper there. So my therapy horse and I were on the front page.
I love it. Did you post that? You need to share that.
Yeah, it's in my LinkedIn posts.
I'm going to find that. That's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, and they have trails behind the barns and pastures at Cedar Creek, so we do trail rides when the weather is good.
What state are you in?
Missouri currently.
Okay. We have a Cedar Creek near me in Minnesota. So I'm like, are
Hmm.
you that close to me? But I live close to the University of Minnesota property, about 20 square acres of wildlife preservation and observation. And we have a Cedar Creek nearby, but it's so peaceful. And there's nothing like getting on a horse in a fall day and just riding quietly. It's just resets everything for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I first started therapeutic horseback riding after there was a presenter from the stable at the outpatient support group that I went to in Illinois, where I had the injury in Missouri and had my inpatient stay here, and then went back to Northern Illinois to recover for most of a year after that with my parents. And so that's so I started at that local stable there and private sessions, and that's where I first really got to work on my balance and coordination. And that was kind of vaulting style, where I would sit on the horse and swing my legs over to one side or the other. And I rode halflingers at first with the short, round barreled horses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. Those are like little warriors. They're so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
They're tough. They're tough little warriors.
Yeah. And then at Cedar Creek in Missouri, when I moved back here, I started out riding a big gypsy van mare named Latte, and I also rode her slightly shorter, mostly black son named Tally.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gypsy Vanners are my daughter's favorite breed.
Mm-hmm.
And my farrier actually shows them at the Minnesota Horse Expo. He
Mm-hmm.
raises and shows them as part of the show of breeds. And some of the horses are just so amazing. And certain breeds are so quiet and you can feel the healing coming off of them. It just soothes the soul for me, I think. And you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a lot of things on horses, like a hack in the countryside in England when I was 16. And then the year after that, I went to a camp in Indiana, and we did a dressage drill routine and a jump course, which we even practiced nose to tail. And it was me and one other rider in my division, and I won.
That's awesome.
So then
Well,
when
how did you like get into the natural ways of healing where I see most people have tried everything medically before they get frustrated and then they start to look into the natural ways of healing? How did you go and make that leap?
I think it was first at the outpatient rehab center in Illinois, where we got the recommendations for neurofeedback and myofascial work and therapeutic horseback riding, and I took it from there.
Nice. And did you do like most of your research or did you have somebody that was helping to guide you to different ways and different supplements and different modalities?
Well, within about 6 months to a year, I was doing it on my own. And speaking of Minnesota, there's a functional neurology center there, and that's where my functional neurologist did some of his training, in addition to chiropractic in the St. Louis area.
So how do you reach out to people that have had brain injury so they know that there's another way, like outside of the medical rounds, and that's your only hope?
I start with the support groups, and I've brought in my therapeutic horseback riding instructor as guest speaker to the one I go to regularly, and my functional neurologist, and also that support group facilitator sees him as a client too.
That's nice. That's awesome. I think the word needs to get out there to the support groups and like all the social media so they know where to go and where to find help and where to look.
Yeah, the first in-person support group I went to in Missouri was that there was a chiropractor who was a guest speaker, and that's where I got the idea to look for and find the one I go to now. And they actually use a device called an integrator that's preloaded and FDA approved, and it vibrates things back into place.
Nice. That's awesome.
More accuracy than doing it by hand most of the time.
Probably feels better too.
Yeah.
I prefer like an activator adjustment rather than a manual crack and crunch kind of way, but
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. Like they don't all do that gentle little adjustment. It takes a little longer, so they just like to do a quick fix. But
Mm-hmm.
that sounds amazing where it vibrates it into place and puts it back naturally the way it probably slid out of alignment.
Yeah. And I've also this month been doing neuro movement sessions every week, and that focuses around tissue mobilization and brain remapping and reconnecting my brain and the muscle groups to their appropriate function.
That's awesome. With the biofeedback lady, I would think that she would be very helpful in reconnecting and resetting your brain to talk to those muscles and neural pathways. Have you done a lot of work yet with that?
I haven't done uh, the neurofeedback in years, although it's probably worth looking into to find out if there are new ways of doing it now.
I can't remember the name exactly of my biofeedback lady. It's a quantum system, but it will tell on the screen what needs to be corrected, and then it will go and correct it and tell your cells, this is what your reset is, this is how you were born, and you need to go back to that because you've forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And it just does a whole system reset, but it can tell you you have a low vitamin B, you're having an issue with your liver, your C4 is out of alignment. It's just so freaky. It reads everything on your whole body. It can tell you you're having emotional upset, or it reads your emotions. It's crazy the things that pop up on there, and it's very, very accurate.
Is that anything like a Healy system?
It's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond Healy. I have a client that did do this biofeedback, and then she tried the Healy because it was less expensive. She has MS, and it didn't work. The Healy did not work for her at all. So then she went back to the biofeedback. And it
Mm-hmm.
will suggest different things. It also has a homeopathy path inside this computer. Have you heard of homeopathic energetic tinctures?
Yeah, I'm taking one of them this month.
Okay, I work with energetics and they're kind of like that. And this quantum program actually has it in their system. So if it says you need holy basil, it will send the frequencies of that plant to your body, just as if you took a physical property tincture, but you're not. You're just getting the frequencies of that healing plant because that's what your body called for.
Mm-hmm.
It's way beyond my thinking. It's ingenious. I probably will never understand it. I've just put some of the dots together, and it's a pretty amazing thing. I've been looking at getting into it myself. I'm not sure if I want to leave my hair analysis alone though, long enough to study it and become a practitioner, but they
Uh,
work beautifully in hand. I stay in the physical lane of what I do, and then that's more of an energetic biofeedback healing.
mm-hmm. If you have a list of providers of that, that would be nice to have.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I have a gal that I see and she's local, but she does mine virtually because it knows my signature. So it's like if you dropped your cell phone in China, you could ping your phone and find your phone. It knows where your body is and your signature, and then it can send that frequency healing, whatever it calls for, to wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very sensitive to it. So I'll give her a call. Twice this has happened. I've called and I said, "Are you just running my program? Because I feel very calm today." And she
Yeah.
said, "No, I just did one of your best friends." And I'm like, "Well, why am I feeling hers?" And she said, "Well, you're very connected and you have similar things and you just needed what she was getting as well." And the second time it happened, my other friend was in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. I said, "This is crazy that I'm picking up on their scans because we have similarities, but
Oh, yeah.
it works. I can feel it."
Yeah.
So,
Additional resources that would be good to have in my provider and resource directory.
yeah, I'm more so the physical lane and I stay there, but I like to resource with people like her that are totally different than me. Because I'm removing heavy metals that are stuck in the brain or the liver, kidneys, tissues.
Mm-hmm.
working on driving the chemicals out, keeping all those elimination pathways open so things can get out without a lot of Herxheimer symptoms and feeling really crummy when it happens. The antiparasitics I mentioned, nobody really addresses that, but we're mammals and we worm our kittens and dogs and cats, horses, but we don't address our own, which is crazy. And they can take over and they can cause a lot of problems that people don't really connect the dots.
Yeah. So that's an amazing amount of resources that you have for a lot of people, and not just brain injury survivors, but that's a key piece of it.
Yeah, if there's like metal stuck in your brain, it's going to interfere with those neural pathways making a new connection. It has to go around scar tissue, and now it might have to go around little mercury. Or if you've had some vaccinations with aluminum, it has to go around that aluminum. And mercury and aluminum will bind in the brain to cause Alzheimer's. So we need to get those removed. We need to get them out. I also see people taking a lot of citric acid, and the ones that are listed on the labels of anything, it's actually a lab-grown mold. So it's not the citric acid that we think of from lemons and limes. And lemons and limes can open your blood-brain barrier. So I encourage people, don't drink that stuff or eat those citric fruits when you're doing a detox, because we don't want that barrier open for things to recirculate and get back in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of details to consider.
Got to do the best that we can.
Yeah. So where can brain injury survivors and people interested in your work find you?
Best place to go is my website. It's hairanalysisnutrition.com. And I have hundreds of blogs on there on all different topics. But they can just hit the contact page and we can set up a time to talk for 45 minutes or so I can get to know what their situation is uniquely. And if they want to do their hair analysis, we can go forward and see where their levels of minerals and heavy metals are. My lab does take a HSA, FSA, which kind of helps if you have that available for pre-tax. And because it's a professional grade supplement, it's been around for like 50 years. It was created to correct the imbalances. They can also use that same card to purchase their supplements, which financially helps. You know, when you're going through this, it's tough. A lot of times people are on disability, short or long term, and you're struggling. So part of that might help somebody to reach out and feel a little better, get your energy level up at least so you can do better healing.
Yeah, that's great to know. Thank you, Lisa. It's been a good talk.
You're welcome. It's so nice to meet you. I'm going to go and look through your LinkedIn page now and try and find some of your horse things and your whole pathway.
Yeah,
Definitely.